And welcome to blog 60 of Tackle the Feelings Before the Behaviour, the big 60, which is quite exciting for me and probably means absolutely nothing to you. Today's blog is going to be called Tackle Bullying, Understand the Bully. And I'm in KwaZulu-Natal at the moment, my hometown, and that's why I don't have the most scenic setting for a video. It's hard to find a nice quiet space I'm sharing at the moment while I get settled back in here. So what I've been doing the last month is a big campaign to try and create awareness for bullying, and not just bullying. I think we've got a lot of how to help people who are being bullied. It's still a huge epidemic, but what I really want to do, what I feel like I can add to this movement that so many people are undergoing to try and stamp out bullying, is to look at and focus on the bully themselves. Why people bully in the first place. And this can totally relate to adult bullying, but because I'm more of a parenting support, family support, looking at the inner child and childhood, I'm going to look at sort of bullying from a childhood perspective in schools and up to teenagers. But there's a lot you can take away, even just in the workplace or at home. Bullying happens everywhere and we don't understand it. So the first thing to say really is, what is bullying? Bullying isn't that once-off incident where you get left out, or you get picked on, or somebody is aggressive with you physically that one time. That's still wrong, but doesn't fall under the realm of bullying. Bullying is when it is repeated occurrences, where somebody is continuously being picked on, continuously being harmed psychologically, physically, emotionally. And it can be just bullied by one person, or it can be a whole group of people. It can be at a workplace, in a school. It can even be in a home. It can be in a friendship group. It can be just about anywhere. But it's that cumulative harm, that ongoing harm of whittling down a person's self-esteem, their confidence, making them feel fear and being nervous every single day, apprehensive, unsafe. That is what creates lasting damage. And we see trauma in people. We wonder where this trauma all came from. And a lot of people have bullying down at the root cause. A lot of people will tell you they were bullied. A lot of people will tell you they were bullies, but they didn't even realize they were bullying. They didn't realize the impact. So from what I see, there's a huge lack of awareness. So to try not, because I can ramble on and on, to try not ramble on and on about this, I'm going to sort of spell out some of the main things that I see as a practitioner, working with families, working in schools, having been a person in school, both bullied and bully at different times, sort of that more younger, early high school for me. So the core emotions that I identify under being bullied and the bully are actually similar. So it's fear and it's shame. There are other emotions like anger and disgust and sort of feelings of feeling not good enough, of lacking, of jealousy. There's so many emotions, but I wanted to highlight both fear and shame. Shame is different to guilt. We all know sort of feeling ashamed, feeling humiliated, but it's a deeper thing than that. When you feel a lot of shame, it's your self-esteem. Shame is the root to self-esteem. It's where you fundamentally believe that there's something lacking, something wrong with you as a person, that you are not good enough, that you are not the same as everybody else. It's that feeling of rejection, of abandonment, of not feeling a sense of belonging, a sense of self-trust, not feeling good about yourself. And that's when that really stems from childhood, where you haven't developed that self-esteem and that confidence, and you've been put down, and you've been made to have a really poor relationship with yourself, given your upbringing, given your experiences in childhood. You will deal with a lot of shame, and shame will either make us lash out in anger or run and hide. Shame does not want to be exposed. So it's a very difficult one as a therapist to work with. You're navigating a minefield, because a person will run from therapy if you don't nurture shame, or they will lash out. So there's shame, and then we all understand fear. And fear makes us do things we would never ordinarily do. When we are afraid, we will either try and get a sense of control and power back. We will follow the masses so as not to be ostracized and left out ourselves. We will avoid doing things, standing up for ourselves, standing up for somebody else. We will live a very limited way. We won't be in our power. So when you have that shame and that fear going hand in hand, it is a recipe for bullying. It's a recipe for being bullied. And so this is what's happening in school. And so I've identified a few reasons why kids bully. And from early years and the little ones, what we need to be teaching, what parents need to be getting involved with this as well as teachers, is teaching empathy. Teaching how to work with difference, teaching how to laugh at ourselves, teaching how to not take things so personally, teaching how to be a good friend, teaching how to help people in need, how to understand respecting people but not having to like people. All those lessons, those are very important for the early years. As we start getting older, we have to learn about sharing, we have to learn about standing up for yourself. Little boys, they're trying to find dominance, trying to find their place. Often in schools or in a family, if one person is in trouble in some way, if they are aggressive, if they are lashing out, reactive, they are being the bully, you will often find it creates a bullying culture. So it starts becoming hard to see who the main bully is. You can often find ringleaders, but those are often the strong personalities. They're not necessarily the ringleaders. They're not necessarily the brains behind the outfit. They're not necessarily your traumatized child in the center. It's difficult to find this. It's difficult to find where it all begins, because once children start bullying each other, then that power play starts going. Then you get a whole section of kids who would rather be bullies themselves than be the ones bullied. So they will do anything to fit in. This pack mentality starts to evolve. But often you'll find that there's one or two or a couple of kids, or maybe a group of kids, that have problems in the home, problems that they are dealing with outside of school, problems with their self-esteem, with shame and fear, often abuse. Something's happened, there's been an incident. Either that, or maybe there's some disability going on, where there's lacking hearing, eyesight, not being able to process things, disability, sort of speech issues. I'm just thinking off the top of my head here, but there's dyslexia, things where a child gets so frustrated and angry and need to assert themselves and gain power in another way. This is often what this is about, is when you've got fear, you are feeling out of control, chaotic. When you've got shame, you are feeling powerless. To combat that, you need to be powerful. You need to be creating safety, finding a way to gain control, being manipulative, all of that. You're trying to compensate for those difficult feelings of shame and fear. So whether you are just following the pack or you are leading the pack, there's often a lot of fear and shame, and you are scared to go against the grain. You're trying to regain sense of control or power. The original bullies are trying to get that back from themselves in a big way. They are often repeating things that they've experienced, even if it's emotionally. So it's good to know that there could be frustrations, disability, fears of being bullied yourself, that pack mentality. There could be something physically wrong or just a lack of empathy, where you're unable to see that what you're doing is impacting someone else, that what you are doing is hurting someone else. So that the awareness and the education around the impact of bullying, what bullying is, how it damages, a little poke here and there every day doesn't seem like much, but when this child is being poked and poked and poked, and other kids see this and also start poking, you might have only poked them once or twice and had a laugh. If this is consistently happening, it's relentless, and that person's feeling powerless to stop it. They're feeling unsafe. So it's really educating kids about the impact of consistently picking on someone, teasing someone, even if it's a joke. It's about helping kids stand up for themselves. It's not easy just to tell a child to just walk away. We need to assist children, give them skills and tools. We need to be helping kids who have problems in the home. Teachers need to be able to recognize trauma. They need to be able to emotionally regulate children so that it doesn't get to this point where emotions are creating these types of behaviors. And a child who bullies will often, it will often turn into quite an aggressive bully later on. And it often goes towards women and children. So we get a lot of family violence, and that is just turbocharged bullying. It's trying to regain a sense of power and control. So schools need to be involved, parents need to be involved. We need to be helping the kids who are doing the bullying just as much as the kids are being bullied. I hope that's been helpful. Have a great week. Subscribe to my channel. Check out my website, www.tacklethefeelings.com. Check out my pages on Facebook. Get in touch with me, tacklethefeelings@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. Let's chat. Put something in the comments if you're not clear, and I will respond to you. Thanks so much. Bye.